Hi, today I'd like to instruct you on what to do when you receive your CDs of the firm panels from FEMA that you may have ordered from the Map Service Center. When you get the package, you have the invoice and packing slip packaged with the DVDs or CDs. So the packing slip will be multiple pages, and it will also list for you all the different files that are on the CDs that you received. The CDs, they are marked mostly for delivery or for the benefit of the people packaging and shipping these to you. They don't appear to be marked for your user friendliness. As you can see, this one just says contents of VIP, customer number 420, order number. So it's not very good, not very helpful. What we do at our office is we actually just take the felt tip marker or the Sharpie and write on it what is actually the contents of these various CDs that we receive. Let's examine what is on these CDs that you've been delivered. The first one that we're interested in would be the one called README. If we look at that README file, it's going to explain for us all of the other files that are contained on these CDs. Let's look at the DEL file, the order number DEL. This contains a column telling you which disk the data is on. So disk 1 and disk 2 in this case gives you the file name, and it has a description of that particular file. And in this case it has two additional columns, one for the state FIPS, also known as Federal Information Processing Standards code. The other is for the full code for this particular county, 17125, and every county in the United States has its own unique code. As I mentioned that, why don't I just go ahead and tell you that these two other files, the county code file, that has that number for every single county in the United States. So it's not just your state that will be on that file, it will be all the counties in the nation. The state code, this will have the unique code, those first two digits that are used for every single state in the United States. The file that is nearly identical to this delivery file is the all file. It, instead of listing which disk things are contained on, it just lists everything you should find between all of your disks. This listing file, it's identical except that it does not contain a duplicate of all files. In other words, the all file says everything between all your CDs. This says this one is what is found on this CD. So these other files that I mentioned, this DEL, the ALL, the README, the state code, the county code, those are duplicated on every single CD. This listing is not duplicated. Other files that you'll find on there are files which are for the images. So this case, this is a .tiff file. It can be opened up in all sorts of image viewing. Its companion would be the particular panels, so this would be the overall layout. You can zoom in and see which panel number you're interested in. Kind of pan around and you can see that if this is the city I'm interested in, this is the number of the file that I want to go after. I want to find 17125C0375D. Okay, and so that is, I would look through here and I would find that particular file. I'd double click it, double click to open it. So I had the ability to use just simple image viewing software that comes on your operating system. These files are made for the GIS, and what makes them ready for GIS are these files called, the end with a W, PGW and TFW. The TF matches the TIFF, which was the index. The PGW matches the PNG files, one for every panel. These numbers are actually information on where to place these on the face of the earth. So it will place these images next to each other. The flood insurance study is also on these, and it'll be the PDF on the CD. This FIS looks like it normally would. It has a title page. It contains kind of boilerplate text as well as text specific to this particular study. It also contains a flood data table, which shows the depths as well as the profile for each of these study areas. The files on the last CD are different from those of the other two. The other two CDs had panels on them. This one has files that are exclusively useful for GIS. Let's look at some of those directories. You drill down through the state name and through the county name, and I have 3 directories here. The document directory is the one we're going to look at first. It has a README file, which is marginally useful. It actually lists for you the file sizes of these files, what is contained in on this CD, and a brief explanation of what these GIS data sets are. There's also a metadata file, which gives you standard information that metadata file would. It tells you the name of the data, it gives you an abstract regarding the data, it would also show you the date of the data, and then some of the other keywords, and as things go on you'll actually see some of the inputs to the data, kind of a bibliography for the data. Towards the bottom are further explanations of some of the files in the data. Okay, so that's the document directory. If we drill up to the enhanced directory, which is empty 98% of the time, not many places have the enhanced data set. So we'll look in the dfirm_db directory. There's 3 files here. Pretty much ignore the first file, ArcExport, and ignore MapInfo. Those are very old formats. ArcShapefile is where you're going to get your useful data. It is also an old format, but it's not as old. And these are the files useful in GIS. Now I've opened up my GIS to show you the different files that are on these CDs. The first one that we discussed was the panels and index image. So here's the index. I'm not going to tell you how to symbolize these. There's a little bit of work that went into actually bringing these in and making them work. That's a topic of another video presentation. So that's the TIFF image, as I mentioned. These panels, because they have that W file, that world file, it places them in the correct location. The problem in this case, though, is we have panels that are overriding each other, and so the display is overriding each other. So we need to set transparency in order to see these correctly. But we can zoom in and we can see these panels. Okay. The other directory to look at were the GIS files. So let me click the box for the GIS files, and what we see here is, as I open it up, in this case there's a feature class called S Flood Hazard Area, and the zone A's are pictured in blue, and this shows you that yes indeed this vector GIS data lines up with the raster GIS data that was delivered on this same set of CDs.